Let's talk about JRMP. When I first started up this project, it was a hobby project, so I just loved the game, I loved Bomb Squad as a whole, and I decided to, hey, maybe I could just jump into modding because it was frequently mentioned on fromling.net, the homepage of Bomb Squad, and the original author, Eric Fromling. So I decided to make something that would not suck and be actually good to include as a free download project for everybody interested to try out. It was about 2 years ago or something, and thanks to Mr. Max Meyer and other people from the community, they helped shape the project that was soon known as Joyride Modpack. And I really thanks to everybody that actually supported me and tried to make this even better along with me. It was a great journey and it's still going on, but now the times have changed and will always be, I'm not denying that. But there's one thing I want to talk about, okay? Bear with me here for a bit. So what is the problem? Why updates aren't so frequent anymore? Well, there are a couple of reasons. The first one being there's summer vacation and a lot of people just want to take a break from mundane tasks that they were working on. And I wanted to take that as well because I really wanted to be free for a bit. While most people complain that they don't have enough time to do everything, well, anyway, we have a summer vacation, then I think you can do everything, right? Well, not exactly, because most people suffer from one problem, as in summer vacations are soon, and then I will have a lot of time, but then half time they would notice, oh, I'm really bored, I don't think what I can do. I have an opposite problem, as in I have so much to do that I can't actually decide what should I do. Should I try develop JRMP or should I try learn Unity to make my own game, for example, my own Bomb Squad? That would be amazing. Or maybe should I just go with my life goal of creating a web cartoon featuring some characters from Joyride Modpack that they were actually here as a cameo, because when you are a fan of something that isn't even out, it's a really powerful drug, and this is probably my identity that were added to JRMP just to keep this game a bit more unique, a bit more like I made it myself. And this is the first problem why I don't do frequent JRMP updates, as in I juggle between all of these things and I have no idea what should I do first, especially with the cartoon idea. I still try to perfect my voice. This is the first time ever you hear me with a microphone actually when I talk to my audience, because in most situations I get anxious near a microphone. You may notice several cuts during the editing, and maybe I'm not an English speaker, not native speaker. I come from Poland, which is in the Central Europe. So I think I talk English better than most people actually. But aside from that, yeah, this is the first reason why JRMP isn't coming frequently. The second reason is that when people wanted to see JRMP campaign mode in the next update, well, this is another thing when I could just go on and ramble about, but let's keep this short. This is a huge thing to tackle, and this update is really big, and it just makes me more lazy, and I just don't want to work on it anymore. I don't find it fun anymore. And then there's the third reason, which is I've got so many people from the community that care about it, they become impatient, and this actually drives me to... It's kind of helpful, yeah, but it has two different sides of a coin. I am the GOAT. The community, when they watch something and they worship somebody, they think that this person can do no wrong, yeah? Well, this is the situation here. Putting a hat on a GOAT, which is, for example, me, in this case, I've got a lot of responsibility to not make everybody sad because I made a bad update or maybe some bad decisions I made. I don't help anybody modding, etc, etc. And this is another reason why I don't do JRMP. Another reason is that there aren't a lot of talented modders out there. I already made a blog post about complaining about why a lot of modders aren't good for coding. They don't know the basic game development things that you need to know in order to make something worthwhile. And that's why the only person that could develop JRMP is me myself. And my friend actually made a lot of things in JRMP, some maps and some characters, and he also helped playtest along with his friend a lot of things that weren't actually added before I announced the next update. So yeah, he's really underrated in my crew. But yeah, only me can do programming stuff while everybody else could do modeling, etc, etc. However, there's another thing, because if I don't do it myself, then the climate of this project will somehow fade in somebody else's creations. So let's keep this short. First, there's too much things to do. 2, community pressure. 3, not many modders that actually could help me. I demand a lot of complicated stuff. And 4, feeling anxious in a lot of stuff. So yeah, this is the one of not many videos that you will hear me talk to the microphone. And if you like me, I could do more quote-unquote vlogs or serious talks, as you would call it. But for now, what do you want me to do? I could just still work on JRMP, but then I would not promise that I would post these updates regularly. I do not have a schedule of adding new updates, so now the 2.6 would be the longest update, and each update additional will be longer and longer to develop. So you could just say me, well, you can just abandon JRMP campaign and or work in fragments so you don't feel exhausted so easily. Or you could just focus on other things, because if they really make you exhausted, then why you should work on something you don't think it's fun? And this is probably the one thing that keeps me down. I could also focus on my life project, cartoon, which is a web cartoon in the likes of Gravity Falls or Adventure Time, but thrown together in a blender, and I decided to make something really unique. Maybe you want to see the web cartoon starring my characters. If this project will earn at least one episode before I hit 18, then it could be really interesting. It would feature English, Polish and Spanish subtitles. Actually, by Angel, one of the Bomb Squad community members, did Spanish subtitles just for fun on my failed cartoon project. I don't want to post it right now, but I think that could be pretty fun. So now, here's your choice. I truly believe that you can understand the hard stuff I'm going through, and I hope you won't be too mad at me, okay? So, either I make JRMP updates infrequently and probably a long time from one and another, I'm talking months at this point, or maybe I should focus on my different goals and just leave JRMP alone for a bit, and I think that you understand that. Peace.